Hey everybody, welcome to episode 4 of Cave Haunters. We are your one and only source for all of the information leading up to the 2012 season of the Haunted Appalachian Caverns here at the Appalachian Caverns. On today's episode, we have sat down and interviewed Rob Metcalf. I know you met him in the first episode, but we're going to go a little bit more in depth because, hey, everybody loves an origin story, right? So we're going to sit down and talk to him about how he got into this industry in the first place, and then we also going to take a viewer request of sorts. Someone asked us to give them some information on what it would take to start a haunt of your own. So we're going to talk to Rob about that, and we're also going to talk to Rob about his background in this industry. All of that and more here on the 4th episode of Cave Haunters. Stick around. We are here with the man with the fucking plan. This is Rob Metcalf. He is the what do we get? What are we calling you? The show running
director, I guess.
King Chief Director. I'm just
Cave
giving people,
Guru, maybe.
Yeah, Cave Guru. I'm just giving people weird titles. That's what the show is. But he's the man in charge here of the Haunted Appalachian Caverns portion of the Appalachian Caverns. We're going to start you off with how's this? How did you get involved in caves? Because when I was a kid and I went to a career day, there was like teacher, doctor, and I do not remember seeing haunted attraction director. How did that come about?
Right. Actually, it all kind of stems from I always had an obsession with horror movies. Anyway, I mean, so that part kind of makes sense. What it amounted to is I got really into film for a little while, and I really wanted to make my own horror movie. And like, what better way to make it than make it live action?
Yeah.
Like, have people coming through and you're actually really scared of people. You get to see the reactions right then. So that's kind of how I got into that.
Fair enough. And how did you get your start actually in the business? How did that come about?
In the business, actually, it all kind of started out as a summer job. A few years ago, I went down to Chattanooga and I started working at Ruby Falls just as a cave tour guide. I was always into caves. I actually helped them out with their haunted attraction they do down there. It's really good. It's actually one of the top in the nation. But I learned a lot from the guys down there. They're both really, really good at what they do. That's kind of how I got my start, and I was like, you know what, eventually I want to try to do my own. Then things kind of fell into place where I could,
So you kind of fell into place. So what was it that brought you here to the Appalachian Caverns?
Actually, mostly just luck. I was just looking for a haunted house to kind of work with, to kind of just help out, and I looked up this place. I was like, well, I've already worked in one of the caves. Maybe I could throw in my 2 cents and help the guys. And I came by here one day, met with the guys that used to run the Haunted Appalachian Caverns, and they were totally gung-ho about me helping them. And come to find out, at that time they had 2 different sections. They had a haunt down at the campground and a haunt in the cave. Well, when I got up here that day, the owner, Roger, he was telling me that the people that had done the cave had quit on him. He didn't have anybody do the cave that year. And he like, well, since you've already, you want to do this, why don't we give you a shot?
Yeah.
And then once again, everything kind of just fell in place. It worked out. Started doing it, absolutely loved it. And then the guys that were down at the campground, they decided to move on to a different location. Totally thank them for their time they had here. But now it just kind of all became mine.
Now he runs everything.
Right?
But don't let it go to your head, because we will strike you down if you become too powerful. What is it? Because I've been to probably almost every single haunted attraction over the years in this area. What is it that the Haunted Appalachian Caverns offers that some of the other haunts in the area don't offer for like a paying customer or even an employee?
Right. Well, first off, the most obvious answer to that's the cave. You really don't get to go into a cave in a haunted house. It's such a unique experience in that way. And also, too, a lot of the other places, they're not set up as tourist friendly as this place, because there's plenty of parking here, and there's plenty of area around to work with, and then everything's a whole lot better set up.
Well, it was already built as a tourist attraction, so might as well.
So that helps me. It makes my job so much easier.
Don't have to do all the planning on that. So you said that Ruby Falls gave you your your break into this? Is there any way that other people on the outside can come in and maybe get their break or work here during the season?
Yeah, anybody's more than welcome to come work for us in the season, and I'll teach anybody as much as they want to know, which pretty much everybody can probably tell from this video series. We're trying to show everybody, what actually goes into it.
That's why I'm here. I don't know any of this.
That works great. See, I'm teaching you something. See, this might be your break.
See, I am the window into the world because it's gone.
Because actually, we're not sure the exact dates yet, but we're actually going to have some auditions later in the fall, probably sometime mid-August. We'll be releasing that information here shortly as soon as I get with all of my crew and figure out exactly when we're doing it. But if you're actually not in this area and you still want to get into business, I would find the most reputable haunted house in your area. Just go talk to them, figure out what it takes to work for them, whether it's a volunteer gig or whether it's a paid gig, try and get in with the guys as good as you can. And most everybody in the haunt industry is really good about teaching you the tricks. I mean, everybody's got their one or two little secrets they don't want everybody to know, but most everybody will pretty much help you out and get you a good start. Then you can see whether or not this would be a business that's good for you to get in or not.
Awesome. Real quick before we go into, because we're going to discuss with him the how-to portion of starting your own haunt, as it were. Real quick, what's your favorite scary movie?
Wow, I just told you, I was a really big horror buff. That's a really, really hard question for me. And actually, I don't know if I can necessarily narrow it down to just one, but I'm going to say the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
Ooh, nice.
Because, because to me, you learn so much new about Freddy Krueger. Now, don't get me wrong, the remake, no. It's got to be Robert Englund. Robert Englund was the man.
Yeah, Robert Englund.
And I'm really, really partial to part 3. I love Dream Warriors.
With the creepy marionette.
Right.
Oh, God. Kids got the... Oh, okay. Anyway, but yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street series. I approve. But now we're going to talk to him about how to start one of your own. So stick around. So we had a special request from some of the people that have watched the episodes so far up to this point. They wanted to know how to do your own a haunt. So Rob's going to give us that information. Now, where do you start? Because it seems like a big...
Right. Basically, the place that I would say start is start with your budget. Figure out how much you got, because then that's going to allow you to know where you can go. Because your next step after you find out how much you got is going to be your location.
Okay.
You need to be able to find out what location you can afford to rent. Then you also have to look into all the insurances and stuff like that. That's actually part of the reason I chose Appalachian Caverns, because it's already tourist attraction. You already have the insurance.
Yeah, he's already got that. So that's one thing that you would want to look for that would make it easier for you. Find something that's already got this kind of built in to it.
Yep.
Where do you go from? We got budget and then your location. Where do we go from there?
After you get your location, you kind of figure out, a little lay of the land, exactly how you want to go. After that, you usually go with your theme.
Okay.
That way you can figure out, how much room you got to set up each room you want to do. You can start getting all your room ideas, and that way you can lay it out on the land you've already acquired. Once you do that, usually the next step is figuring out exactly what you're going to need to buy to create these rooms, or what you need to build, depending on which way you're going to go. And a lot of that has to do, once again, with your budget. You can either afford to buy it, or you're going to have to be a little bit cheaper to make it. I like making a lot of things myself, not necessarily just to save budget, but you can make things fit a lot differently.
Yeah.
You can make it a little more your own than
Instead of having to work around someone else's parameters, you can set your own parameters. You mentioned a theme. Why is a theme important?
I know a lot of people, they don't do themes, but to me, a theme's important because it gives you direction to go in. Especially when you get to the point you're hiring your actors and everything. You tell them exactly what you want. It's not like, hide behind this case right here and just jump out and scare somebody. You'd be like, this is your motivation. It's more like directing a movie in that sense. It's a lot easier to work with your actors, work with building and everything if you've got something to go off of, and that's why I decided to do a theme.
When we talked to Adam Honeycutt last week in the sound episode, he even said that he lit up when he was told that there was a theme, because it gave him a direction. He wasn't just floating adrift in sea. He had, this is what you want. I can do that. And so yeah, themes seem very important. So the budget, we get your theme, you got your location, and then you got your rooms, and you're building the rooms and stuff
Right.
like that. Where do we go from there?
Once you get from there, the next thing is probably the most important part, and a lot of people, they lack in this area, and that is your promotions. Promotions is your biggest key. From what I've done, my research and stuff, it seems you want to spend $2 to $3 for every person that you would like to have. So, if you want to have 500 people, you're probably looking at $1,500. And starting out, it's a little bit harder to buy radio ads, stuff like that, because that stuff is expensive. If you're a smaller heart, I recommend starting out with basic flyers and stuff. You can usually take them to like your local costume shops and stuff, and they'll usually pass them out all through the month for you. It's no real big deal there, but promotions is definitely your biggest key. If you can afford the radio is probably your best way to go. Do a little bit of research in your area, find out what your age demographic is and what station they listen to the most. Here it was Top 40, which probably is the most for the age demographics. You're looking at late high school, college kids is mostly your demographic for this type of thing. But
and I know that you can get a lot of stuff in newspapers and stuff.
Yep,
right?
yep. A lot of times newspapers will do the free advertising for you. Do a little bit of, like around here they call it Halloween happenings. It's a lot of things that just different haunts and stuff that are going on in the area, different Halloween events like your trunk or treats or your judgment houses plus your haunted houses. It's usually a good way to get in there for a little bit of free. And a lot too, I like to go to a lot of festivals and stuff, which hopefully we'll see in some later episodes.
Okay, yeah.
Just go out and start getting the word out. Just go out and talk to people about it, because that word of mouth is your best thing. Because I know you spend all this time finding your location, building your props, getting everything set up. But if people don't know about it, you did it all from nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got promotion, we've got our room, we've got our budget, we've got our location, and then where do we go?
Next step after that is usually finding some people to be on your staff, be your actors. Because everybody that runs a haunted house, you can dab in everything a little bit, but you'll find that you aren't necessarily the best at everything. That's why I brought people like Adam on. I can do a little bit of sound, but nothing like Adam could do. Like Adam's really, really talented. If you can find people that are really into certain areas, it's really good to place them there. And also when you're casting all your actors and stuff, I like to sit down and actually interview them a little bit. Figure out kind of what they want to do, what they're going to be good at. Then also too, you got to decide whether you're going to be a volunteer haunt or if you're actually going to be able to pay your actors. A lot of that usually depends on your budget as well. How many people you're planning on coming, stuff like that.
So that it's a lot of steps.
Yeah.
And as this progresses, we'll hopefully be able to give you more in depth into some of those things, the processes he was talking about, like going out and promoting. Hopefully you'll be able to see some of that, interviewing the actors, some of the stuff that we're going to touch on here. But we wanted to give you guys a base overview of just some of the ideas of where we're going to be going as this series progresses. So that was Rob Metcalf, the Grand King Wizard. I don't know. I'm literally just stringing together words that sound cool. Here on episode 4 of Cave Haunters, you also got to see some of the beautiful gift shop here at the Appalachian Caverns. This was a requested episode, so if you guys have any more requests, just feel free to get on YouTube, bang in some stuff, what you guys want to see in later episodes. But that was episode 4. This is Rob Metcalf. I'm your host, I'm Hunter, and I'm reminding you to stop the attackers. You must remove the head or destroy the brain. I repeat, you must remove the head or destroy the brain. Peace out.